when there's a powerful bar, which this one was, you can then move your stop. So I'm going to start to talk now. We'll go into those reversal examples more in a second, but since we're on this example uh, trade, I'll give you how to move the stops up. So when there's a powerful bar like this one, you would then move your stop up after that bar is completed as a powerful bar. So you need to know that it didn't come down a whole lot by the end. Like, you know, if it came down there to there by the end, that's not a powerful bar necessarily. So you might not put the stop there. Yeah, you could still put the stop there. If it made it all the way up, then it's still a powerful bar that got overcome by selling pressure. So when you enter, the trigger candle would be this one. You start with the stop loss at the bottom of the candle, which sucks because it's a huge candle. But usually the risk to reward on these huge reversals is more than 2 or 3 to 1. And if you look at the size of this candle, if you had just left your stop there and then figured out how to get stopped out at a target, and you did catch this whole move, you did capture about 2.5 reward to risk on that initial risk. But the good news is this bar was so powerful. When you have a powerful bar, a power bar like that, you move your stop up. Anytime there's a power bar, you move your stop up underneath it because it went so far. It went so far that it would be ludicrous for you to let it drop all the way back down. So, you know, these are like the next level rules that I need to teach you about. You now can move your stop up to the bottom of one of these power bars. This next bar was another power bar. Beginning to top is a pretty big bar. And so you would move your stop up to there. Now it starts to get kind of smallish action, right? So that's when, for me, I'm gonna have to explain this one. So, and you might want to write this down. So, because there were 3 power bars in a row, I know that this is a strong trend. And strong trends, you can use the 8 moving average, 8-period moving average. Typically, you kind of got to watch it for noise. You don't want to be too strict with it. You can use the 8 moving average as like your trailing stop line once you're in a powerful trend. But if the trend starts to weaken, it's going to curve back into that line, and yet it still might keep going. So you don't want to just immediately stop out. You also want to have other things that inform you, like, you know, this is ridiculous, it's time to get out. You know, you can't just go, oh, it hit the 8 MA, I'm out. You need to have a couple other reasons, like, you know, we've gone over. Maybe it's very extended from the 20, you know, some of that stuff, to actually, you know, take it more strictly. Okay, so that kept me in for this stuff right here, which was these 2 pullback bars, and my stop would have been under here if I did use that stop, but then I was on to the 8 MA at that point. And then these bars all went above the 8 MA, and this bar was a power bar, so I mentally moved my stop right there for like a hard price limit stop, but I was also watching that 8 MA, and the 8 MA kept me in through this, which was not too much to have to stomach because it kind of kept going up and up as well, even though those are red bars. And then these greens were lovely to see. But then this red one came down into the 8 MA, but it went right back. Like, it didn't have like a strong power to it towards the end. And so that's when I know to just give it a moment. And that, you know, it had gone this far off of the 20-period moving average on this side, and yet on this side it's only at that point just a little bit off of the 20 MA. So I knew it had room because the lung was still opening and breathing in air, right? In that, you know, analogy. So I gave the 8 MA some leeway right there, you see, and it worked, you know. If things really got bad, then I would have gotten out of the trade at some other point where things got worse, and I still would have been profitable, so that's okay. But it kept me in the trade, and that worked, and it kept going up and up, and I'm definitely starting to think like, man, this has been a long way because it's already had like 3 legs is essentially what it is. One leg here, pull back. One leg here, and then you have this red kind of pull back consolidation. One leg here, that's actually 3 legs, and you got the pull back. Another leg, which was kind of short and pull back. The legs are getting shorter. That's kind of like topping action, but then boom, it had this really nice push followed by green bar, and yet that's like the 5th leg now. And so you start to think, okay, I better start tightening up my stops. And so I just showed you 2 new ways to put stops on your trades, but here's a 3rd one. When things are starting to get pretty much to the end of the move and you know it, you switch to something called bar by bar mode. And that means that you put the stop at the bottom of every passing bar. Look at that. Okay? And you could almost have done that like all along in this. Chick, 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 chick. You would have got stopped out right there. And then this big green bar would have overcome the red bar, and you guys know from the strategy you'd probably enter again because it's going right through the 20 MA, and that's a sweet spot. Although maybe you don't know about the fact that you can take contrary action moves now that you know about these reversal bars. But now that you know, yeah, you can do that. And this is power bar strategy we're going to go over in a little bit. This is a power bar. Power bars you take, whichever direction they're in. Oh, somebody drew something there. How did you do that? All right, I'm going to take that off because that's so funny when people do that. At least I'll take it off so that you can't do it on our screen, but you can do it to your own screen if you want to practice by looking at things. So when things of like, you know, to me in my mind, 3 is the typical like number of legs of a rally. If it gets to 5 legs, that's pretty amazing. Sometimes it can do it though, 7 legs, 9 legs, you know, it can have a lot of zigzag leg run, right? But, you know, after 3, you should be on alert. You should be a little bit concerned. In this case, it crossed the 20, so you can kind of give it more. You can give it like 4 or 5 because it can do like 2 from the other side up and in, and then 2 on the other side up and out. So it's like 4. See what I mean? But you know that you should be highly sensitive at that point to trying to find an exit, being very careful. So I was watching the 8 MA, and I was in bar by bar mode at this point. And so when it fell down right here, and it was so close to the 8 MA, I mean, I knew this was just the region where I needed to get out, and the bar was moving fast, and I'm like, yeah, I could have probably got out over here, and I would have been happier. You know, you think that, and you're getting these other alerts in your mind. Okay, these other things are telling me I should get out, so you get out. See, that's how you trade well, is you use a lot of factors to go, okay, yeah, definitely, and then you get out. You know, you don't have to guess. You have multiple things informing you. Let's see if there's any questions. Go ahead and ask them. But that's 3 stop methods that I've shown you now. Power bars, which are these big bars that are most entirely, whatever they are, bullish. Actually, we just said they don't have to be bullish. They can come back down and still be considered a power bar, just that got weakened. So you move your stop up after any of those power bars. So boop boop, and then the 8 MA. That's the second stop potential there. Only in a strong trend. You can alternatively use whatever moving average it seems to be respecting, and then just use that and just follow it. You know, that's that railroading technique.